Oh, I've got iRacing now, and I've got me. Hooray! Welcome everybody. Welcome to EDF Motorsports GT4 TCR round 10, and that is brought to you from Charlotte Motor Speedway. Sorry, totally caught out now because I'm actually on the stream. We have got a 34-degree track, so it's pretty hot out there. Charlotte has lots and lots of concrete. It's going to be a great race tonight. And in the booth with me is Silent Yaz. How you doing? Not so silent, Yaz.
I'm doing well. Well, I'm glad that we finally here and people can hear us. We were talking to ourselves for a little while there.
Yeah.
But yeah, glad to be at Charlotte Roval.
Yeah, everyone was saying how my conversation was boring. I don't know how they can say that. Apparently I'm useless, Pete Bingham. Thanks for that, Clyde. And yes, cameras is Fumble Thumbs Whiting. Absolutely. Good evening, Clyde. Like anybody believes that. And then at some point this evening we'll get Better Late Than Never, Stacey Jeffries. So let's talk about GT4s and TCRs. We've got how many of each tonight? We've got a lot more TCRs like we normally do. We've got 7 GT4s and 10 TCRs. We've got everybody's in qualifying at the moment. They have... Why have I lost my iRacing sound? That's just weird. How have you managed to control my iRacing sound, Clyde? I think you have. I don't know how you've done it, but I think you've done it. There we go. Back to normal. Right, on to slave mode. I'm not saying anything. Are you on Stefan at the minute? Excellent. As Stefan rejoins the oval circuit. So, Yaz, Charlotte Motor Speedway. Have you got much experience of driving around here?
Well, both crashing and driving. It is a mixed bag. A very long oval, which is always fun. That's my favorite part. Very little turns, except for these 2 chicanes that they have in there to disturb everything. It's fast and furious, and like I said, not much forgiveness because the walls are everywhere. So it's going to be a good night tonight.
I don't think it's going to be a good night for anybody's suspension, Clyde, if you're able to commentate with us for a bit. The curbs around here are beastly.
Yeah, I'm hoping people can hear me on the stream now. It looks like it was the Windows update. Recent Windows update has reset everything back to basic, so just had to have a fiddle around in the background and sort the sound out. So yeah, I think I've only ever done a couple of races round here. I've not done very well, and I spent more time racing the track and racing myself rather than racing other people. My brain capacity couldn't keep me on the track and race other cars. But saying that, I did thoroughly enjoy it because it is most definitely a challenge.
Yeah, and Yaz has just pointed out that we need some live timing if you've got buttons to press.
Oh, I've got loads of buttons to press.
Let's see if we can get the live timing up before the session trips over to race. We're closing in on the race now. Session was 15 minutes long. We've had about 11 or 12 minutes of the qualifying session so far. No surprises. Smiling Assassin is at the top of the timing screen for GT4. He's done a 1:22.49. Stefan Goebel, who I know is fast around here because he was in the practice session before this one, has done a 1:22.58, so that's tight. It's even tighter between him and Rob Venn at the moment, who's done a 1:22.61, so just 300ths separating them out. Then we got Chris Needham on a 1:22.79, so that's all very tight, top 4. Jason Haddington's done a 1:23.49. And Arnaud Chanonnier, who is on track at the minute, and Clyde's just tripped to him. Oh, we've got a timing tower now. That's awesome. Has done a 1:24.23. Alan Toon for Team Saga is a little bit further back on a 125.32. In TCR, Arrive and Drive Draper has done a 124.69. He's not Arrive and Drive tonight, I know he's not. As Tyler goes even faster in GT4. Stephen Walker, who won on his first showing in this league, has done a 124.69 as well. So they've both got the same time. You think they'd try and be a little bit, unique, but apparently not. Gary Craig is not far behind them, 2/10 on a 124.89. And then we've got Chris Shaw on a 125.35. So a bit of work to do there from Chris. Same for Frank. Frank is fast around here because he was fast in the practice session, a 125.42. Jamie Wilson not on track, a 125.49, but we know that he just turns up and races everybody once he gets in it. Carl Hardy's done a 125.77, and he's the last one on track at the minute. David Ayres, Lee Bowden, and Martin Brennan have all set times, good ones, but they're not back out on track at this point. Yeah. So, Yaz, what are you expecting? Massive piles of cars at certain corners, or nice and smooth and clean?
Well, no matter where you go, turn one is always a tell-all. Everybody needs to get through there to be able to race, and this track will be like no other. You go a little bit uphill at turn one, and then you kind of need to fit everybody through this little this small little alleyway between two walls. It would be nice to see everybody get through clean, but I think that's going to be the telling sign tonight to see what happens.
I think you're right. I thought we were going to get a fast lap from Tyler there so that we could talk through it, but he's bailed on it. Gary Craig's about to fly through on a racing lap, so if we could join him, that'd be good. Oh no, he's parked it. Everybody's parking it at the minute.
I think
anybody else on track?
It's pretty much the end of the session, isn't it?
Yeah, I think Tyler was giving Gary a bit of a tow, or trying to at least.
Right.
Like doing some teamwork there. That's obviously going to come into it with a big section of this track on the oval. I mean, even though it's split by the chicanes, it is a long section to pick up a tow behind someone else.
Yeah.
And with the tow, obviously, with that also comes some fuel and tire saving, which is, as we know in this league now, has become something that everybody's thinking about. We'll see how that plays out in terms of pit stops. I'm not entirely sure what the pit strategies would be and what the pit windows are yet, but it always keeps things exciting to see what happens.
Yeah, and Cal Hardy's had the pit strategy from Gary and from Tyler for the TCR, which is stop 4 times and change a different tyre on each stop. So that was good advice. Hopefully he sticks to it. Yeah. He needs to start getting slower, Cal Hardy, because he's actually beaten me in the official league by about 30 points or something at the minute. So,
okay, so that's the session done.
It is the session done, and we will shortly trip to the grid in about 30 seconds. No changes from what I read out, other than it looks like Mark Draper has managed to pit pole position by 200ths of a second.
Yeah, just slightly quicker than what he was before, but the order seems the same.
Yeah, I think it's going to be that top 4 at the very least is going to be mega tough.
Yeah, don't discard Jamie Wilson. He might have qualified down at the bottom, but we've seen him fight and battle through the field every week. So he might not be in the top 4 at the start, but I'm sure he'll be there at some point in the race.
He will. The session has just ticked over, so we're going to be in the race session now. Someone will drop a pace car from the moon, and it'll land on the track. So that's odd. Everybody, it's Charlotte, isn't it?
That's how they start here, isn't it?
Yeah, that really freaked me out for a minute. So, your poleman for tonight in TCR will be Tyler Newitt for BSTV Esports Orange. Stefan Goebel will go off second for VTS Germany. Rob Venn will go off third for BSTV Esports Yellow, followed by Chris Needham for RWC Racing. And then Jason Haddington in fifth for RWC Racing 2. Arnaud Chenonnier for RWC Racing will go off sixth. And Alan Toon will bring up the rear. Do you want to run through the TCRs once they slide up the screen, Yaz?
First place in pole, we've got Mark Draper for work hard by result. Stephen Walker just behind him in qualifying. In second. Gary Craig, that's for BSTV Esport. Is it green? Can you move that up there? Who was in fourth? Can't see who was in fourth.
Wait for Clyde to trip it up.
It won't move.
It won't move. Okay, I'll finish that grid off for you, Yaz, for now. So, where were you up to? Gary Craig. Frank T-Bosch will go off fourth for Result Clothing. Cal Hardy will go off fifth. Jamie Wilson sixth. David Ayres will go off seventh. Lee Bowden off eighth. Martin Brennan off ninth. Chris Needham and Chris Shaw. Maybe it's something to do with the name Chris, but they don't appear to have gridded their cars. I might be very wrong about that.
You could be.
Currently showing. Oop.
Yeah.
So we're on Tyler at the minute, following the pace car. I'm not going to get much time to talk about what happened last time, but your top three from last time out was Rob Venn, Wobbly, who's not here, I don't think, and Stefan for GT4. And TCR was Stephen Walker, Gary Craig was second, and Scott Malcolm, who isn't here again, was in third last time. So we're looking for some fireworks from some of these guys. Especially in TCR, that's a very hotly contested competition at the moment. I'll talk about where they are at in terms of standings as we go through this race.
Yeah, it does look like the two Chris's had some issues and are starting from the pit lane.
Right, I see.
Whether that's by choice or some niggles that they have on their side, we don't know. Let's see what happens.
Well, we all know what turn... Is it turn 1 or turn 2 here? I think it's turn 1, isn't it?
Yeah, everybody will be piling into that wall on the right-hand side at some point.
I can't remember what it's called. It's got a comical name, hasn't it?
Do they have names on any of these?
Yeah, it's a brand name, isn't it, round here? We might catch it on the camera.
Is it WD-40 or something like that?
Or T-cut or something.
Yeah. And better late than never, Stacey has joined us. But she's muted for now.
Pace car's in.
Pace cars left the racing field and Tyler's going.
Yeah, this needs to get through that first chicane. It looks like he's gotten away quite cleanly, so he should be out of the action and not have anybody piling into him. See what happens in the back.
Yeah, everything seems to be fairly calm at the moment.
Yeah, looks like the same happened in the TCR. Mark Draper got the jump on Stephen Walker there, and everybody seems to be going through single file and well behaved. So that's a good start from everybody. Everybody's still in this, and it looks like the two Chris's have picked up from behind, so they've pulled out to the pit lane and are still in this place, so they haven't left us. But yeah, it looks like there's some moves happening there. So this infield section is quite tricky. You really need to watch yourself on the throttle. You want to get on there quite early, but if you get on it just a little bit too much, you'll go all the way onto the grass because it goes up and down a bit like a roller coaster. So the guys need to just watch themselves. It looks like this He's making a move.
Yes, Chris
Chris
Needham
Needham,
in the
Chris Needham making his way
GT4.
through the back, making his way through the TCR field. Yeah, like I said, on this long straight, the oval. Well, I call it a straight because it's the oval and there's not much turning. There's going to be a lot of pace there for the GT4s over the TCRs, and we should see a lot of passes there if it does come down to needing to get through the traffic.
Yeah, what's happened there?
I
So
think Stephen Walker may have got a slowdown.
yeah, that must be it. He's let Jamie Wilson, who was your tip for the top, Yaz, through on those first few corners.
And he's up into the top four, as you said. I think that the chicanes, as high as they are and as damaging as they can be, the curbs on the chicane, they're also tight on the slowdown. So there's going to be quite a few penalties if you take that too tightly. You need to give yourself some room on these chicanes.
What's happened to David Ayres?
Oh, David Ayres in an issue. 3 wide into turn. Where's that? 1. Oh, that's never going to work. Oh dear. That's expensive.
Yeah, that's the one that we spoke about. Everybody coming in at high speed and then needing to get through this narrow alleyway.
Well, what you wanted there, Yaz, was at least one of them to say, "Right, lads, you go," but none of them did, and it was like, "What? Three into this corner here doesn't go."
Yeah, it looks. You're looking at this onboard here from Stefan Goebel, and it looks wide, but when you're all trying to make that same corner, it just doesn't work. Stefan getting all over the back of Tyler now. Stefan has shown some really, really good pace over the last few weeks. He just needs to put a race together for to get the top tip of the podium. He's got a few podiums now this season, and he's really, really improved tremendously as the season has gone on. So let's see if he can put the pressure on. I do know that he's not one who enjoys fuel saving as much as he's not a fan of that side of things. But let's see if he's chasing Tyler here. It should naturally, if he's close enough, you'd naturally be saving some fuel, saving some tires. So let's hope he can put himself in a good position before the end of the race.
Yeah, and Rob Van here is right on his 6 at the minute. And he'll be getting a good amount of tow, but whether he chooses to use it or not is another thing. He's off the gas early to avoid any comings together.
Yeah. The chicanes really do break up the momentum that you build up. But it's a nice challenge for everybody to get the car slowed down, to get the car turned in. And then get on the gas as fast as possible again, because all these chicanes are followed by very long straights. Who's that's running off the bottom there?
I think that is David Ayres coming out of the pits after repairing, and Alan Toon getting out of the way.
Yep, that's exactly what it is. Behind Stephen Walker at the minute is the recovering a much delayed Chris Needham. So he'll catch up with they won't catch up with them in this section because the TCR is going to be quicker through all the twisty bits. He'll have to wait until he gets a couple of straight sections. Gary Craig is managing to get a little bit of a gap over Jamie Wilson just in front. And Stephen Walker still in the same position he was from his time delay, his penalty.
Yeah, and there you can just see the pace of the GT4 on these races. I was saying it should make for easy pickings for Chris. He just needs to keep it clean here, and he should easily pass the TCRs without too much effort and without too much risk.
Yeah, he's definitely going to get Jamie, either in a straight line or under braking, I would think. Although the TCR will brake a lot later. This is a bit dicey, actually. He's not going to get Gary for another few turns yet. Ooh.
Yeah, that's a bit tightly, but he should hopefully get away from him and not hold up Jamie too much through the section.
Just a love tap, I think.
Yeah, just to let him know he's there. And then in terms of overall standings, at the moment, as it stands, Tyler Newitt leads GT4 with Rob Venn in second and Stefan Goebel in third. So all of those three are on your screen right now. Always good for a healthy championship. Fourth is Wobbly, and fifth is Andy Perks, neither of which are here tonight. Then you got a little bit of a jump back to Arnaud Chenonnier, who is here tonight. And then in TCR, we have that man, Mark Draper, the annoying man who arrives and drives and does very well everywhere. He's top of the pile on 1,488 total points, as Stefan gets a really good look at the back of Tyler's car. Gary Craig is second. Jamie Wilson is third. Lee Bowden is fourth, and Frank T-Bosch is fifth. And the most handsome one in the league is now dropped down to ninth because I've not been racing. And then let's talk team standings quickly. So, BSTV Esports Green, the best team in the world with the most handsome driver in the world, is currently top of the pile. BSTV Esports Yellow is second. And then Result Clothing iRacing team is third, with Safeguard by Result fourth, and BTS Germany fifth. So that is how everything stacks up in terms of points and league position. So everything is still to play for in this league at the moment. As Stephen Walker gets a little bit closer to Jamie, yes.
Yeah, this it's still open for quite a few. There's still a few people in the running for honors in both the GT4s and the TCRs, and then also the team standings as well. So let's watch this race. 6, 7. What race is this for the season?
This is round 10.
Round 10 already.
Round 10, yeah.
Already.
So we've got a couple more races after this, and things they can't be any closer than what they are yet. So everybody's got some wins in the GT4s. Tyler hasn't won everything. Rob Venn has got a couple. Wobbly Niekamp has been up there. Like I said earlier, Stefan Goebel is almost there with a win. So that's really good competition in GT4s. TCRs have always been close on track. Even though Mark Draper has sort of pulled a bit of a lead at the front here, he also hasn't won all the races. So, there's still a lot on the table.
Yeah, absolutely. And Stacey, good evening.
Good evening, chaps. How are we doing?
We're doing all right. We've done our best to get you the overlay detail, but it's a bit fuzzy-wuzzy.
Yeah, I was going to say the screen doesn't look too sharp, but it's on here, so that's cool. And I'd like to say good evening to the very, very glamorous camera guy you've got this evening.
Is that a different camera guy to what you're experiencing, Yaz?
Yeah, glamorous. I don't know.
No, enormous maybe.
I'm just wondering what cake is on the menu this evening.
No cake, just a bag of Rebels.
Oh, it's gonna be a miserable night, I think. That's probably why.
Good evening, Stacey. It's nice to be joined in the booth by somebody professional.
I think we're all looking for that person. So
here.
Stephen Walker still not managing to get around Jamie Walker. Jamie Walker, what?
It's a Billism.
It is. That's crazy.
Complete professionalism.
Yeah, I am channeling Bill Switzer right now. So Stefan has managed to move himself in the spirit level further towards Tyler than he was to Rob just before.
He's definitely the bubble, isn't he?
Yeah. And he's yo-yoing about a bit. Sorry.
But there isn't a second between the three of them, so this is quite tight. They've sort of pulled away from the rest of the pack a little bit, like they've done throughout the season. We've seen Wobbly Niekamp run with him at the top there, but still, even though it looks like there's a gap on camera, it's still less than a second, and it's not much around here.
And we must mention Wobbly, obviously. For the folks at home, the reason that he's not racing tonight is his wife won't let him.
Yeah, that's not under the thumb. That's under the entire hand.
Yeah.
He needs to get himself some maracas and sort that out. Anyway,
I think she's got a knee on his neck there or something.
yeah, totally. So, Stacey, Charlotte Roval, have you seen a race round here before?
I have. It's not really a track that I like watching racing on, to be fair. I think it's a little bit boring. Very colourful, though. I do like the artwork. Good job there.
Yeah, if you stare at it too long, it stays burnt onto your retinas for weeks. It's impossible to get rid of.
I've just seen the advertising on Turn 1. It's Tums, and they call it Heartburn Turn.
That's class. I like it. So this track differs slightly from other oval tracks in the fact that it's got some elevation change, which is fairly. Is it unique? It is fairly unique for a Roval, isn't it, Clyde? You don't get many with some ups and downs, do you?
No, but I'm sure Stefan Goebel just
we need a replay of that,
the
please.
wall. Let's have a look.
While Clyde's busy finding that.
Oh no!
No.
Horrendously quick.
That's the one. Oh, right. So he was getting into.
Maybe not.
No. He got a big handful of curb as he was trying to go around Tyler. I do appreciate what you're saying, Stacey, because there's really only the chopper and blimp cam that you can use around here because the walls are so high. There's various areas on the track where there's in real life probably there are piles and piles of wing mirrors because of all the ones that have been snapped off cars on walls. And it's a bit like a mini Daytona Roval, if you know what I mean. It's got a bus stop, it's got a chicane, it's got... Ooh, Tyler, where are you going, mate? And Rob then, good effort. Is Rob going to... Oh, Tyler's taking the...
Yeah, Tyler's trying to not give any draft, but that hasn't done anything.
No.
No, Stefan's going to back out of that.
Woo! He nearly contact. The best thing that this track is good for, Stacey, believe it or not, is pile-ups. I've been in a few races around here, where we get to this point that Rob's at now, and there's just no way through. It's just a wall of cars all facing sideways.
There's a bit I do want to ask you about. I don't know what corner it is, but it looks like if you've got cars coming in the opposite direction to you on that same section.
Yeah, it's the in and
just
out.
a wall.
If you give it, it's the next turn after this. So as they go left here, and the blue cones, there it is.
Is there actually? Oh, there is a wall there. I was going to say, could you see any cars coming the other way?
Not when you're in the car because the walls are quite high. If we go on board with Rob at the minute and see what a fast lap looks like now that Tyler's in second place because he's not as fast as Rob, we know that and we know he's listening, which is funnier still. So he's going to... he's off the gas fairly early because it's a GT4. Avoid the curbs at all costs unless you want to buy new shock absorbers every lap. And get onto the gas. Follow the blue line as closely as you can. Keeping one tyre down there if you can do. And then as it straightens up, you kind of want to get on the gas in a brake in a straight line. Take a little bit of that curb and a little bit of that curb. Not that much. Otherwise you get a bit sideways like that. And then you want to...
Heartburn turn.
Heartburn turn. You want to tuck it in there, stay away from that right-hand wall, stay close to the left-hand wall here and drift out wide before you take on the third turn, technically. 17 turns on this thing. It's a busy old track for a driver. Then get back on the gas here. It seems like forever around that previous turn. Then you go uphill here, which is a refreshing turn. Third gear in a TCR, probably second in one of these. I'm not really sure. I'll get criticised by Tyler later. Don't hit the wall on the outside here. And then late onto the gas here. and onto the oval section again. This is technically turn 2 on the normal oval. Once you straighten up, you've got your markers on the right hand side here, and between the 4 and the 3, oh, he's off early. Is he to fuel saving, do we think? Bit of curb here, a little bit of curb there, and then away. Cut the corner, you don't get a penalty on this track, and that is a lap of Charlotte Roval.
Are you still missing
It
another?
looks like it
chicane
doesn't give you
coming
any room for error. Oh, it doesn't matter.
No, there is no room for error at all. What were you saying didn't matter? Were you trying to get through, Yaz?
No, so yeah, we were here with the TCRs. This is Lee Bowden and Frank T-Bosch behind him. Or was that Lee Bowden following? That's Lee Bowden following Carl Hardy.
Yeah.
And you can see the effect of the toe here. With that gap just closing ever so slightly. Even though this still looks like there's quite a gap, it's just the fact that this oval is, there's just nothing between you and the other car in front, and you're at full throttle through that section, and that TCR is screaming with dear might when you're at the top of that rev limiter. That it can really be a lot of fun, and being the car that follows here is going to be beneficial. Like we said earlier, we do like to, everybody's thinking about, can they make the fuel here? I don't know if the TCRs are going to struggle at all, but I think the GT4s are going to be on the, sort of on the limit of trying to save a little bit so that they only need to stop once. I think you're not going to lose a lot of time by saving a little bit of fuel, and I think that's probably why Tyler is going to sit behind Rob for the better part of the section and then race him in the second part.
Yeah, and we're going to have to see what happens with these two at the front of here and whether Stefan can get back on terms with them. Who's your money on then, Stacey? Is she gone? Oh, no, there she is.
Not sure yet. I can't really see who's where, to be honest, because everything's all pixelated again.
Ah, right.
So
is that on the stream as well as what Clyde's got going on?
A couple of overtakes we can show. So Lee Bowden getting past Frank T-Bosch. Frank just run it out a bit wide there.
Yeah, and gifted 2 positions over.
Yeah, Stephen Walker got past Jamie Wilson. Just looked like he got a bit of run out there.
Yeah.
Teammates, Arno Chenonnier got past Jason Haddington. He's a long way back.
Yeah, that's... there we go. That'll be a nice handy slowdown.
One for Stacey. Martin Brennan getting past Alan Toon.
I can't really cheer that, really, because it's Alan.
I know, but it's an overtake by Martin, so we'll have a look at it. And there you go.
Yeah, I think, looking at a few of those replays, we see those curves coming in the chicanes, and how important it is to get the right, to get the car slowed down and not climb those curves too much, because it's really going to cost you on the straights that follow.
And whilst we was watching that, we did miss Lee Bowden getting past Carl Hardy, so here it is for the Lee Bowden fans. Especially Julia, if she's watching.
Fair. Oh, that almost looks like Carl had a slowdown.
Yeah, that was definitely a gimme, wasn't it?
Yeah. So, Stacey, it looks like Rob Venn is showing Tyler how it's done.
Doing a good job for sure. We're going to have to start calling Rob Venn Hamilton now and not Tyler.
Stefan Goebel keeps getting on the back of him, doesn't he, and then dropping off again.
Yeah, and I don't know what that's all about, to be honest. He is very, very quick round here, and obviously his qualifying time was as competitive as Tyler's, really. That'll wind Tyler up for later, so I'm sure I'll get punished for that one at some point. But he's kind of just hanging on the back of this pair at the moment. I don't know whether he's trying to save any fuel, whether they are. I think a one-stop, I am very reliably informed, is most likely a no-show in this car because the fuel consumption is too high.
Yeah, and, you know, I think it's a shame. I don't think Marco Lewert has joined us on the chat because he might have some inside information. But out of the top GT4 drivers, I think Stefan has probably struggled more with fuel saving than the rest. So perhaps he is just playing a tactical game tonight and seeing if by sitting behind these two he can actually save a bit more than he normally does.
Yeah, and on that topic, and to answer Austin's message on the chat, the McLaren only does well on fuel around here if the tanker that it has all the fuel in for it is able to keep up.
Yeah, and Austin has actually signed up for the series in a McLaren. Couldn't make it tonight, but he'll be with us next week.
Let's hope he's paid his Sunoco membership for the year.
Yeah, so I mean, you know, on this track, you on 100% throttle for basically most of the lap, which is going to eat up fuel, quite a lot of fuel. So just looking, you know, just from observation, I think that what's happening, you know, we're seeing Stefan pull up behind the back of Tyler into that last chicane. I have a feeling that Tyler might be lifting off the gas a little bit earlier than what he really needs to, and Stefan is still going and braking a lot later than what braking a lot later than what Tyler is, and that's why we're seeing that sort of concertina happening. And because we just see them pull away again immediately after. So, you know, there's really no reason to go in hot because it's the exit that's really going to count around here after the chicane.
Yeah, and we can see Chris Needham's got the Charlotte Roval wing mirror on the side there.
Yeah.
Just dangling off.
The reason I moved to him is because he's obviously we see Arnaud get past Jason because Jason made a mistake, and now Chris has chased Jason down as well. So three teammates, or three under the same stable anyway, on the same piece of track.
Yeah, these guys look like they're having a whale of a time at the minute. Interesting to figure out why the two Chris's started from pit road. I don't know that any penalties were being served, so that's a bit of a strange one. Maybe they just thought it'd be safer if they ended up not getting piled into at turn one.
Yeah, I think with Chris Shaw, it's probably just because he's a girl.
Back with the front runners in GT4 now.
I've got an off track for Chris Shaw. Let's see if it's worthy of a replay or not.
Well, it must be because he's just pitted the car, unless that's the first time to pit the car.
No, he's rode the curb.
Grass.
Yeah.
Like a little bit of grass. Nothing serious.
Nothing major there.
Although he's driving it like he's on a 360 controller, so that's a weird one. And he's been in the pits for quite a long time now.
Yeah, these GT4s are on top of each other again.
Jamie Wilson has pitted.
All right, these must be just scheduled stops then.
Let's just Can we get a decent angle on this? Probably not, because we might get it there.
That might be all right.
Let's see if he takes any tyres. Yeah,
Yep.
certainly is taking something.
It'll be fronts, I would think, if it's around about 8 to 10 seconds, something like that, of additional time. Obviously, won't see that for the all-take tyres, but there you go. So, Stacey, has Martin driven this track before tonight or not?
I think he has. If I remember rightly, he didn't get on with it very well, to be fair. And judging by last night's practice and swear jar being filled up, I don't think he's enjoying tonight.
It's a difficult track to enjoy, to be honest, unless you win. That is the only way that you enjoy this track. It is a marathon because 17 turns on a track as small as this, it's constant activity. As we see, Arnaud Chenonnier box the car, no tyres for Arnaud.
Yeah, it will be interesting to know what tyres they're taking. I mean, Pete, you mentioned fronts. It might also be a good, this track layout and the turns that are here also really do favor the left tire. So you probably want to take right tires. Taking right-hand side tires might also be an advantage. So it will be interesting to hear after the race what those who did take tires, which tires they took.
Yeah, that's a GT4 driver that's speaking there. So yeah, on the GT4s, you would probably take right-hand tyres if you're going to take anything. TCRs, because it's front-wheel drive, your back tyres really just they're lazy. They just fucking just tootle around behind the car.
Just
really.
what? Just what?
Never mind.
What?
Yeah.
I thought it was a family show.
So did I. They don't do a great deal other than stopping the car from spinning around in front of you. The front tyres, however, they get an absolute beating. And yeah, you just get through like $25 worth of tyre every lap. As his teammate, Jason Haddington, pops up 4 tyres.
Yeah,
so
he is taking something, isn't he? And obviously the other one to throw into the mix there, as Gary Craig comes into the pits, is Carl Hardy, that might take 1 tyre, might take 3, just makes it up as he goes along.
Yeah.
Obviously.
I think the one thing that is really playing out here is to see that Stefan Goebel is making it to the halfway mark. So
yeah, although he nearly didn't because he just took his wing mirror off on the exit of the bus stop.
Yeah. Well, I was only talking about making to the pit stop. So, jeez, what happened to me? So it looks like the top 3 are all going to be making 1 stop only.
Oh, Tyler just made a move there.
He did, and he's made it stick. That's a good one.
Yeah.
Stuck it down the inside.
Stefan needs some Viagra for that wing mirror, I think.
He does. He's getting a bit racy now that he thinks he's got an advantage on Rob, I think. Can you see any dive bomb moves in this one, Stacey?
Sorry, I didn't hear you say that again.
Can you see any dive bomb moves coming from Stefan on this one?
I would think so. It's coming. It's getting close.
I think there might be something. Maybe not now, but I think you're right. I think there's something going to happen possibly around pit stops for Stefan Goebel.
He's not an angry German, is he? He's quite
No.
controlled. But which one of these are going to blink first? Or are they all going to blink at the same time?
Well, the RWC team have been in pretty much all of them, apart from Chris Needham. So, I don't know what the... Oh, here we go. There's Rob and Stefan.
They've left. So that could just be the fuel that Tyler saved behind Rob. Let's see if we can get better. look at these guys, see what they do.
Yeah, remember the first two GT4s that stopped were both in the McLaren. We know that they have no chance of doing a.
Oh, Stefan went
Oh,
too far.
Stefan.
And interestingly, Rob is taking some form of tyres. Stefan isn't.
I think that'll be Yaz's tyre recommendation from earlier. That'll be right-hand tyres for sure.
Stefan's taking a while to get away there.
I think that's because he had to do
He went
several
too far in his
manoeuvres.
box, didn't he? That lost him a couple of seconds, I think, in that pit stop. I expect to see Tyler in this lap.
Yeah, he'll want to address that undercut, I would think. Although his line at the minute... Oh, there we go. I was a bit premature.
And Stefan Goebel's got Stephen Walker between him and Rob Finn. All the way through the middle section, so that's cost him a little bit, dropping behind Rob Finn a little bit there. Should make the pass.
I think he's got past him, yeah.
Yeah. But when he came out of the pit stop, he had Stephen Walker between the two of them.
Yeah, so Tyler as well taking some form of tyre, some new feel goods. So let's have a look at. So there's Stefan.
Where is Mark Draper? Is he now leading the entire race? He is, isn't he?
Indeed, he is. Yes, we have a TCR leading the whole field.
It's got to happen at some point, hasn't it? It really does. When do you reckon Martin Brennan's going to win the overall race, Stacey?
Have I really got to answer that?
Dear.
Could be a while.
Could be a while. That's a very diplomatic way to say that, yes.
I think he'll surprise us one day, though.
Yeah, I hope so. We do need TCRs to be overall winners in at least one race, just so that we can go ha-ha to the GT4s. So, yes, having a look at who's not pitted. Mark Draper obviously hasn't pitted, nor has Stephen Walker. They're sweating it out. Lee Bowden and Cal Hardy also not pitted so far. All TCRs.
I'm just going to leave you on this battle for a second whilst I visit the big boys' room.
Oh, Stefan. Oh, dear, he was hot in there, wasn't he, Stacey?
Oh, yeah. I do apologise. I keep getting on mute because I've got crazy cats running around the house, so sorry about that, guys.
Yeah, I have the same thing going on. I just ignore them. So, yeah, what was your weapon of choice in this? Was it BMW?
BMW was my favorite. I could never really get the hang of this Porsche. It was just, well, I guess I didn't give it enough time. But yeah, I really did enjoy the BMW. I still jump in one of these races, one of the IMSA races, or the BMW 12.0 from time to time.
Yeah.
And yeah, the GT4s are they're a good balance between being fast and not too fast. Being fast and being in control. As opposed to the GT3s, which is a bit quicker and it requires a little bit more finesse and a little bit more experience. So it's a fun car to drive, and you get some nice battles in the various races in these cars. But we speak about we've spoken about it time to time. Which car's faster, which cars is better, and when it comes down to this league, the cars are very well balanced. It really just comes down to who's driving the car and how quick they can do it. Um, you know, uh, the only downside, the only downside that we see happening is the McLaren's fuel consumption, but the speed of the three GT4s are very evenly matched. Like I said, just comes down to the driver who's behind the wheel.
Yeah, absolutely, and how comfortable they are taking these turns and smoothness around a track like this where it's got so many sharp turns. Sadly, the TCRs have had to give best to the GT4s now. We see Tyler on the inset picture there, obviously having a blast back at the front of this field, and he's got himself a tidy lead now. He has 2 seconds or more over his teammate Rob Venn.
Yeah, he's got a bit of a gap. You mentioned who's more comfortable. I think that comfortableness also comes with practice. These guys put in a lot of time to get to this pace. It's not just a case of jumping in and driving and getting up to speed. These drivers put in a lot of time together every week. These practice sessions that go up twice, thrice in preparation for this. It's all about putting in the time and putting in proper practice, not just driving around aimlessly, but actually trying to looking at where you can improve, and the guys giving each other a hand to say, what, do this here, take this one a little bit later, just giving them advice. The faster guys giving the others a little bit of advice to improve the game, and that's why we see such close racing, is because they're not running away from the field, because everybody's always improving, everybody's helping each other, trying to get better, and it makes for a really good broadcast.
Yeah, it really does. It's a good community. David Ayres on your screen at the minute. Martin must comment, Stacey, on the... Oh, that's a bit wide from David Ayres. He must comment on the advice given by the rest of the result team and the rest of them when they're in the practice sessions.
Yeah, they are... Sorry, you just caught me in chocolate. But yeah, the guys are really, really good. They're always like giving each other advice, tips. They tend to wait for each other on the track as well, so they can then start practicing together and copying each other's lines and things. So yeah, there's a really good sportsmanship in this racing league. So yeah, it is really good.
And I think this, guys, is the last of the TCRs to pit. Carl Hardy flying towards that pit limiter line. Do we think he got down to speed?
That had oops written all over it, didn't it?
He's been done. He's been done. He was fishtailing all the way into pit road, which is what you really don't want to do, because that's your tyres losing their adhesion, and he's bobbled his way into a... Well, it'll be 26 seconds, won't it, Clyde?
I would have thought so, yeah.
Yeah.
No, we can't get it.
26 seconds hold.
And this isn't his first rodeo.
No, it isn't. You're absolutely right, Yaz. Yeah, last time out was exactly the same. Only last time out he got his penalty wrong. He thought it was a drive-through, and it wasn't. It was a stop and hold. It might actually be a 40-second stop and hold. And around a track like this, where one lap is 1 minute 25, that's, what, a third of a lap?
Yeah, that's going to kill his chances on you came into the pits in the lead. Well, not the real lead, because he was the only one who hasn't pitted, but that's definitely put him out.
Yeah.
He's out of the pits now, though, so he's come out in 9th place, just behind Chris Shaw. But yeah, that's gonna take some doing to get back in this. If you just look at it, 40 seconds has cost him. Basically, he would have been in fourth, should have been round about 4th place in that battle with Jamie Wilson. Had he, if it cost him, what was that stop and go? 40 seconds or 26 seconds?
I think it was a 40-second stop and hold. Because
yeah,
he's done. Oh no, hang on, let me find him. We
that's
just
a long
saw
time.
Stephen Walker take second place in TCR from Gary Craig with a very fine overtake into turn 1, which was set up for several turns before. Where is Carl? There he is. He's done. I think it was a 26-second stop and hold.
Yeah, well, that should have put him in the top 5-ish around there. So it's cost him quite a bit, and to try and close that gap now, it's going to be near impossible with 20 minutes to go. He has, however, found himself just behind Chris Shaw. We know that Chris Shaw is our current defending champion, so 8th place is not where he should be. We know that he started from pit lane, whether that was an issue or by choice. I'm not sure, but even so, I would have thought that he would have made up some time on the other guys by now.
I've just seen your latest post on the chat, Clyde. Does that mean that I've got to dress up as a girl again for Paceworks' charity gig?
No, I'm not actually sure where that's coming from.
Oh, it might be Sam then.
That is definitely not me. I have a feeling it might be our bot that was set up is gone a bit cranky and is doing a bit of a Back to the Future.
Right, okay.
Because that was last year, wasn't it?
It was, yeah. I don't know whether they're doing it again, but I've not seen any pink Paceworks cars.
Well, it won't be out of your ordinary Saturday night then, Pete, for you to be dressing up as a girl. So it's nothing extra.
And don't forget Fridays.
Oh yeah, Fridays as well.
Yeah, Naked Fridays, which had to be changed from Naked Wednesdays because, well, Wednesdays, you're at work, aren't you? Do you do Naked Fridays at your place, Stacey?
Hell no.
They do. Stacey's a stripper. They do naked every days.
Ah, yeah, that's right. There's a good one.
Oh, I was waiting for that. That's been a while.
So, Lee Bowden with Martin Brennan in tow. Martin's moved himself up a number of places through the unhappy circumstances of others, although he was well deep into the bus stop there. That's another quid in the swear jar for you. And
Gary Craig has got past Stephen Walker again.
Oh, we have to see that, because that would have been a proper either a Stephen Walker mistake. Oh, he's vanished on the screen I'm watching. And then he's got, oh, that's a carbon copy of the overtake that Stephen Walker did to him.
Mm.
So these two, very evenly matched at the moment, eh?
So let's go back to live on this battle.
Who's your money on, Stacey? Stephen or Gary?
Gary.
Oh,
Is that the right answer?
that was the right answer. I used to race with Stephen Walker, and he's raced with us that was in V8s, and he's raced with us for some of our commentary race series as well. He is lightning quick, and we're going to exchange places again at the same point again. Well, this is a bit of a blast, isn't it, Yaz?
Yeah, I think it's. I mean, it's just about this. These straight sections where you're behind, and you just have the advantage when you're coming up behind the other car, being in their tow, and then you really need to nail that last chicane. If you just put a millimeter out, the car behind is gonna get the jump on you in that short little straight up to turn 1. And if they just take that inside line, there's really not much you can do about it, as we've seen 3 laps in a row now.
Yeah, one thing that's a bit more reassuring this week, Stacey, is that Stephen Walker hasn't just naffed off into the distance like he did last time. It shows that he is mortal
Mark Draper's now napped off into the distance.
Yeah.
Yeah, we kind of expect that though, don't we?
Mhm.
9 seconds he's got at the moment on the rest of the TCR field on these two and here on
Yeah.
shot.
We know that with Mark, don't we? It's why we call him Win It or Bin It, because that's what he does.
He really does. He's either great or he's not.
Yeah, I think he's been reading what I've been saying in the chats and what I've been saying is that if there's a hole, he eats it, because that's what's been happening. Is when he's binned it, it's been at tracks where there are holes that are close by. It looks like he's got it under control here. There's a hole everywhere. So he's definitely turned. It made me eat my words.
Good job it's not Ramadan still.
And we are 46 minutes into this race already. Don't know where that went. Stephen appears to be dropping Gary a little bit now, but he's not lost the toe yet, so that might continue to the end. Rob Venn, however, has Stefan Goebel for close company. Now, did we say that Stefan didn't take tyres and Rob did? We did. That is what happened.
That is correct, yes. For once you are right.
Amazing, isn't it?
First time
even
ever.
monkeys can be taught stuff. It's amazing.
So we'll make sure we edit that part out.
Okay, that's fine. Don't want to get a false reputation.
So I don't know if you're going to see that tire fall off in the last few minutes of this race. But Stefan is still all over the back of Rob Venn right now. So it definitely hasn't yet shown its advantage as yet for Rob. Tyler, on the other hand, has pulled a gap of 4.5 seconds from this group. So it's going to be Stefan's really close to the back of Rob again into the chicanes. So it's going to be nice to see what happens through this last 12 minutes of this race.
Yeah, and in the braking zone, Stefan seems to close right up, but he's almost carrying too much speed into each of the corners, so he's compromising his exits all the time, Stacey.
Is he just overdriving it?
I
think he is. Yeah.
Yeah, I think that for some of the viewers who are watching who are not used to watching GT4s and TCRs, it's very different to what we usually see with the Formula One cars, where they high downforce and huge acceleration, where you're trying to, you always hear the saying, last of the late breakers. It's not what we want to be doing in these cars. You're trying to keep the momentum of this car. So a lot of the time you need to be slower into the corners to be faster out, because you want to be faster out of the corner rather than into the corner. And I think that's what we're seeing here. Rob is going into the corner a little bit slower than what Stefan is. And we see him come out of it a lot quicker than what Stefan is. So that's just the difference in this kind of racing to what we usually see in Formula One and these others that we are more popular.
Yeah, he was a lot better through the bus stop that time. So whether he's listening to you or not, I'm not sure. But he definitely approached it with a different head. Same for this one as well. He's a lot smoother through there, but it's not gained him any ground on Rob Venn so far.
Yeah, I think that these two have been evenly matched on pace. It's just been that Rob Venn has been able to be more consistent in taking it to the finish. Stefan's been unlucky and made a few mistakes here and there, but the pace has been immense from the two of them. The improvement, like I mentioned earlier in the broadcast, the improvement from the two of them has been amazing over this from last season to this season. I think we're seeing it here again. The pace is, they're really on each other, and they just can't get away from each other.
Yeah, this is the closest battle on track. The only other one that's at all close to this is Gary Craig and Stephen Walker, but Stephen Walker seems to be chiseling away at Gary there and getting himself a bigger gap ever slightly on each turn. Everybody else is fairly spread out at this point in the race now. I think tyre strategy might come into it. I don't know whether we'll see, and we should see, a second pit stop for these GT4s, but given the fact that we are, well, it's going to be a splash and dash either way, isn't it?
I don't think they will. I think they all made it halfway.
I think the
Or
McLarens
the top
might have
three
to stop.
anyway.
Yeah, the
Top three.
McLarens might need to do another stop, but the Porsches in the top three definitely made it past the halfway mark on the first stint, so I don't think that they're going to need to stop again, provided that they completely filled up and did the right calculations. It should be fine.
Yeah, well, these two pitted on lap 22. Trying to see back if they're going any faster now, as in they've saved enough and therefore they can go flat out. Yep, we'll see what goes on with these guys. Have we got any GT4s that pitted prior? Yeah, Arnaud Chenonnier, he had to pit on lap 19, but he is driving a McLaren, so he's borrowing fuel from everybody else. Everybody else seemed to go lap 21 or better, with Tyler being the last of the pitters on the GT4 scene. Seems like he's having a fun time on the intercept picture and flinging the car around the turns. In set pitch now is Jamie Wilson's TCR. As he tries to chase down Gary Craig, but Gary's got an 11-second lead over him at the present moment. Jamie's in a bit of a bubble on his own, really. The car behind is obviously race leader Tyler Newitt. He's got 16.5 seconds to Frank T-Bosch, which is the next nearest TCR behind him. So, if I could sing, I'd be singing all by myself. I'm not going to sing because I can't. How's your singing voice, Stacey?
Probably just as good as yours.
Oh, that bad, eh? Okay. So I think we need to call that the relaxed wing mirror position.
Yeah, that wing mirror seems to be holding on there, not wanting to go anywhere. Yeah.
It's certainly not serving its original purpose, is it? But
it's definitely trying to, it's getting 10 points for effort. So
perhaps he's looking for damage on the right front of the car.
Yeah, that is actually quite funny. What I am impressed with is the lack of crashes that we've seen in this race so far. I don't remember seeing anybody fully bin it into any of the walls. It shows how skillful these drivers are, doesn't it, Stacey?
Just David Ayres. Right.
Yeah, just David, that's right.
that wasn't with a wall, that was trying to go 3 wide into, what's that first corner?
It was an ill-advised
turn.
Yeah. Yeah, you're enjoying that now, aren't you?
Yeah.
Who do you think you've just cursed them by saying this?
The whole field. I predict massive pile-up at turn 2.
Well, as you've noticed, I've not told you who my money's on, because we know what happened last week, so I've kept quiet.
Well, yeah, I was going to see which poor unfortunate fool was going to get cursed this week. Last week's curse was really powerful, wasn't it? It happened almost immediately.
It did. So I definitely think Tyler deserves this week's win.
Yeah, and I saved my curse for the British Touring Car Championship.
You've used your full
Ooh,
years with
7.
the curse there. Everybody you mentioned on that Facebook post ended up pinning it.
Oh,
Ooh, that's a
7
hit.
again.
Is that wing mirror gone now? Oh, it's
No.
still there.
Are them tyres
Oh.
finally shot?
I think so. I feel like I've engaged on a personal level with that wing mirror.
Yeah, I think that wing mirror is like that ex-girlfriend that just doesn't want to go anyway, hanging on for dear life. But it looks like, I think it could be the tires now that coming out right towards the end here. As Robin has now put that gap on there. That being said, I mean, Stefan definitely, it's no mean feat to get to third place on this. So he needs to just keep it tidy for this last 3 minutes.
Yeah, and Chris Needham, who started from pit road, has now got himself back into his qualifying position of 4th. So that's, you got to put that down to successful race, haven't you?
That's a very good race from him. Had he started and not needed to get through the TCR field and all the way from the back there, who knows where he would have been if he started on the. It would be interesting to know what actually happened and why he started from pit road.
And these two have been reasonably inseparable all race. This is Arnaud Chenonnier and Jason Haddington. They are 5th and 6th respectively.
Have they made 2 stops?
Have they made 2 stops?
Not
It's a
yet.
good question.
Not yet. Okay, it'll
No.
be interesting to see if they can make it all the way to the end. But it could also explain why they're going, why they're that far behind. Maybe they're trying to drive, trying to save a bit of fuel, which means they're going to be going a little bit slower, so that they don't have to stop twice.
Yep.
In that McLaren. Yeah, let's see if they can make it to the end. But yeah, it looked like a fairly clean race for the WCR drivers tonight.
And with only a minute and a half-ish to go of the race, we should be taking white flags next lap round, do you think, Clyde? Where is Tyler at the minute?
Yeah, I think so. Tyler's he's just gone on to NASCAR turn 1.
Yeah, so yeah, you're going to be taking the white flag on the next lap. So
just to answer your question.
Here we go.
There we go.
Arnaud Chenonnier.
Just a little bit too long, and
he's the only one so far, though, so everybody else must have been able to make it. Unless there's any last lap splash and dash going on. Chris Shaw closing in on the back of Martin Brennan. And Carl Hardy kind of not way out the back because he's got David Ayres a minute behind him at the moment. There's David Ayres fighting his way back after 3 wide into turn 1 didn't go. That was literally 3 into 1. Hey. Tyler has now got the relaxed wing mirror on the left-hand side of his car.
even Stefan can swap notes on that one at the end.
Yeah, I was going to say it's incredible the lengths that Tyler will go to make his car more aerodynamic. He's trying to snap all the extra bits off the sides.
Just looking back, Stefan Goebel seems to be going backwards at this stage. I don't know, maybe if he's run out of fuel or...
No, it'll be his tyres
that shot. He would have run out of tyres.
Yeah, because, no, just looking at his gap to Chris Needham is 3 seconds. So
that has come down a lot.
So, yeah, I don't
know. Oh, gosh, he was 3 seconds slower in the last lap. So is he risky on fuel then? Yeah, like Yaz is saying.
So Tyler's won the race. Let's not forget that's happened. Looks like
Oh,
Stefan's
Christ,
coming
yeah, Tyler's already crossed the line. Congratulations to Tyler. We're busy watching Stefan. Rob Venn, second. Stefan, third. Made it in the end.
He's just made it over the line there, Stefan. 2 seconds ahead of Chris Needham. So that's a very good fight back from Chris Needham from where he was.
Gary Craig ends up third in TCR. I've not said 1 and 2 yet because they haven't finished where they are on track. Jason Wilson finished fourth in TCR. There comes Mark Draper.
Who's Jason Wilson?
Oh, I do it every time. It's because I work with a bloke called Jason Wilson. Jamie Wilson. And there comes Mark Draper into the final chicane. And over the line. Very confident victory.
Stephen Walker coming through in second place, and that's all the TCRs now over the line.
I think that's everybody over the line now.
Yeah, everybody over the line, and yeah, what a good result again for Tyler, winning that one. After the pit stops, he really wasn't challenged by anybody. Before the pit stops, it was a nice to watch battle for the first three. Yeah, another good win. Well done to Tyler.
Yeah, and he's busy proving that he had enough fuel to get round to put his car into pit road. And once the session ticks over, we shall go through the grid. Are you able to see enough words, Stacey, to do any grid numbers or not?
I'm afraid not. I wish I could. Everything's still pixelated.
All right.
Yeah, we did talk to Sam at the start, Stacey, and it's a Discord error. There's nothing we could do to fix it, unfortunately.
That's all right. I could hear you guys all clear. Just couldn't see who was where.
Cool. So, that's qualifying. We'll wait for race.
Just wait for the session to tick over. And there we go.
Right then, so your race winner tonight was that man, Tyler Newitt for BSTV Esports Orange. Second place was his teammate Rob Venn for BSTV Esports Yellow. Stefan Goebel was third for VTS Germany. Chris Needham was fourth for RWC Racing. And then the first of the TCRs, your TCR winner, Mark Draper for Work Guard by Result. Next home was Arnaud Chenonnier for RWC Racing, followed in seventh by Jason Haddington for RWC Racing 2. Second in TCR was Stephen Walker tonight, last time out's winner, followed by Gary Craig in third place TCR, 9th overall for BSTV Esports Green. Then Jamie Wilson in 10th, Frank T-Bosch in 11th, Lee Bowden in 12th, Chris Shaw in 13th, Martin Brennan in 14th, Carl Hardy in 15th, David Ayres in 16th, and Alan Toon rounds out the field. So, Yaz, didn't work out like I expected it to. I expected a bigger pile of car parts at turn 1, to be fair. We nearly got it, thanks to three wide TCRs in the turn 1. But overall, a really clean race.
Yeah, except for a couple of wing mirrors who didn't play along. We didn't have much of what we spoke about. No pileups, no walls. None of the halls have played a big role in this race. It was just good racing. We saw a couple of people cutting the chicanes a little bit more than they needed to, or more than was necessary, and that cost them. But yeah, nothing too spectacular, nothing out of the ordinary, just good racing today.
Yeah, and what was your opinion of the race, Stacey? It was remarkably clean. There wasn't a massive amount of overtaking, but what we did see seemed to be pretty clean.
Yeah, well, I was going to say that's the most nicest, cleanest race I've seen in ages. Everyone was really well behaved, so yeah, quite shocked really. I know we shouldn't say about people crashing, but I do like a good old crash occasionally and someone going up to space, but didn't see any of that today.
No, we do have the 3 wide into turn 1 on the screen at the minute. And this ended badly when everybody concertinaed in on David Ayres, who, well, if I was in that position, I'd have probably backed out. If I was in the centre, I'd probably backed out if I was on the right-hand side as well. But there you go. That's competitive races for you. So we will start tonight's interviews. Are either of you two wanting to do interviews tonight?
Yep, sure.
Cool. In that case, Yaz, I'm going to hand you over, or rather, I'm going to hand Tyler Newitt over to you. Our race winner is in the booth, Yaz.
Good evening, Tyler. Congratulations on another win. Well done on this evening after a little bit of a debacle last week. I'm sure you're happy to be in the top set of the podium.
Yeah, it was a nice rebound from Mid-Ohio. To be quite honest, it wasn't the most fun race I've ever run. It was kind of a bit lonely. I just think I had a little bit of a pace advantage over Rob and Stefan, and then that translated into a fuel advantage because I could keep up with them and save the extra lap in that first stint. So I could go flat out in the second stint. I think with the pace we ended up running, I think Rob could have as well, and probably Stefan too, since he made that. But it was just once I'd done the extra lap, I knew they would be saving, so I kind of put the pedal down and built a gap and maintained it. So yeah, it was a nice race. Just not the busiest.
We were just talking in the broadcast, and I know you were listening. We were predicting some holes coming into play here, but no one seemed to hit the hole hard. You had a wing mirror hanging off, towards the end. Did you find it hard at all in terms of the track? I know you're saying that you were kind of all on your own, but the track itself, your preparation, and then driving, how did you find it around the circuit?
I think part of it had to do with the fact that we were all driving at like 8/10 through the first stint, and by the second stint, the tires weren't great, so I don't think anybody was really pushing as hard as they could. I know Stefan said he had a brush with the wall that kind of slowed him down towards the end. I had a close call that scraped the wing mirror off, and had a couple other close calls that didn't result in any contact, but were enough to, convince me to back it down on the next lap. Mostly, it was coming out of the infield section back onto the oval, both kind of the in and out section and the oval wall can jump out at you if you're not careful. So yeah, it was a bit stressful. Once I kind of had that gap, I was able to back it down a little bit again, and I knew Rob was, I knew what Rob's fuel situation was, so I could kind of modulate that gap as needed. And Rob just didn't have the pace he's had the last couple weeks this time around, which I'm sure he'll be back on it next time out. So it'll be a bit more pressure and maybe more mistakes like Mid-Ohio.
Yeah. So we spoke about the walls now. There's a lot said about these curbs that are so high. Did you hit them at any point in a way that you didn't want to?
Yes.
We did see you come through the bus stop there a little bit slow, and then you took to the inside road, did you get a slowdown there, or was it just just because you knew you were slow out of the exit?
In the race or in
The race, yes.
I had a couple of slow runs through the bus stop where I just hooked too much curb. The curbs are brutal. Everybody knows it. The Porsche in particular is not. Since the latest update, they made it really fun to drive, but it is just like a pogo stick for suspension off of the big curb strike. So it was really not designed for this track. I shared my setup on the Discord for anyone driving the Porsche because before the race, because it was, you know, necessary. I did a lot of work in the practice session we had to just get it to, you know, take the bumps without totally destroying your car. Even still, by and large, the game plan was to use the red and white curves but stay off the big blue curves. You could take a little bit more in the final chicane on the front stretch, but otherwise it was really trying to keep it off the blue curve.
Okay, well done on the win. Next week we've got 2 rounds left. Hockenheim. Are you looking forward to that one?
Nope.
Nope.
Can't stand it, but I'll be there.
He'll be there. Well, is there anyone else, anyone you want to thank, or any shout outs you want to do this week?
Yeah, BSTV Sports as always. Rob and Gary for being in the chat, and Pete for being in the chat before the race and then doing the broadcast. And thanks to you guys as well for the broadcast as always. And yeah.
Well done again on your win. Congratulations, and hopefully you can turn that non-excitement for next week into some kind of result again. I'm sure you will.
Yeah.
Well done again. Congratulations.
Yep. Thanks, guys.
Cheers.
Cool. Right. So I'm going to lock horns with. Where is it? Can't find live booth. Found it. Rob Venn. Good evening. How you doing?
Evening. Yeah, it's pretty good. Yeah, not bad.
Weren't able to stick it to Tyler this week, no?
No, I mean, bit of a bogey track for me. I can never get the sort of 2 chicanes in the oval bit right. So I sort of losing 2 or 3 tenths each lap on those. Yeah, struggling for fuel, pretty much. Yeah.
Seemed like you were. Of all the GT4s, I think you had the more eventful race in terms of competitive racing with both Tyler and with Stefan. You beat them both, though, in one particular criteria. Do you know what that is?
It's accident, X's and stuff.
Sort of. Stefan lost his right wing mirror, and Tyler lost his left. And you kept both of yours, so really, you're the winner.
Yeah, I suppose I'm the winner. Yeah, I haven't had to go to the Porsche garage and buy a mirror. But yeah.
No, they are quite expensive, as I understand. Yeah, totally. Yeah. How was the rest of the racing tonight? Tyler said it lacked excitement for him. Sometimes these Roval tracks can be like that. What was your experience?
Yeah, it was a bit. I don't know. You were watching the fuel gauge all the time, and yeah, you're managing your fuel. And I think that sort of took away from the racing a little bit, because it felt like, okay, at the start we were doing a little bit of a dance, but essentially we were happy where we are, all 3 of us. And
Yeah.
I know Stefan went off, so I gained a place from that, and then Tyler had a little sort of off-track thing, and I got past him. But essentially it was just by accident almost. It was, yeah, you didn't feel like you were pushing, or you weren't really making moves on people or anything like that, because you're managing your fuel so much. But yeah, it's just one of those races, isn't it? I mean, it's a different type of racing and that type of thing to what we're normally doing, where you've got a period of time where you can sort of knock spots off each other and stuff. But yeah, I mean, yeah.
What and do you think that's going to happen at Hockenheim, or is that going to be a bit of a repeat of Charlotte?
I don't think Hockenheim will be a repeat of Charlotte. I think it'll be closer to the normal big track races we have, like Mid-Ohio and Phillip Island and stuff like that a little bit. Because I think, yeah, with the longer tracks, you sort of keep your momentum longer. I think with Charlotte, you're on and off the throttle quite a lot, so that made it a quite high fuel usage track.
Yeah.
So I think it'd be a bit better. I'm quite looking forward to racing at Hockenheim.
Awesome stuff. And anybody you'd like to thank before we let you go and celebrate your points haul for second place?
Yeah, EDF Motorsport for sponsoring the series. You guys for running it and doing all the tricky stuff. Yeah, all the other drivers. I'm sort of hoping we can get a few more GT4 drivers in before next season and stuff. Yeah, and everyone who watches and everything. Yeah.
Awesome stuff. In that case, congratulations, Rob, second place. Great result tonight, and probably the most exciting GT4 we had on the track. So thank you very much.
Yeah, thank you.
Cool. I'm going to bring in, and I'll take this one. You can have the lead TCR, but I'm going to bring in, when I can find live booth. Why can't I find it? Chris Needham to the booth. Good evening, Chris.
Evening.
So, read what you wrote in the or somebody wrote in the chat. It was you, was it? Right, cool. I thought it might be. So your pedals failed. I guess you had to reset your rig and then start from pit lane.
Yeah, pretty much. I didn't touch the pedals after gridding up, and then as soon as everybody started moving, touched the pedals, nothing. I was like, okay, this is not good. So yeah, jumped out into the menu, reset everything. Everything worked again, but by that time, yeah, I had to start from the pits.
Well, I think given the fact that you finished fourth, you've done a fantastic job if that's the situation. Although starting from pit road on certain tracks is a benefit occasionally, and this track is definitely one of them. Turn 1 can claim a number of victims, especially off starts. It wasn't the case tonight, but you've done a great job to get back to fourth place.
Yeah, thanks. Yeah, you just think in your head what could have been, if you started where you should have started. But yeah, it's just a battle through the TCRs really at the beginning, and then just doing my fuel saving as I wanted to. I had to push a bit harder in the first stint, so it was a case of massive fuel saving in the second stint just to get across the line as the car started stuttering.
Right, okay, well that's called perfect timing in my opinion. And Hockenheim, hopefully you'll have no pedal issues. What's that like for you? Is that a track that you know and are comfortable with?
I've raced it a few times, but it's not a track that I enjoy really. The same as Tyler, really not looking forward to it, but yeah, I do my best, and hopefully, yeah, no tech problems this time.
Yeah, because you were extremely quick in practice and qualifying, and fourth is probably well, it's a really good result, isn't it, when you look at Stefan, Rob and Tyler in front of you. No insult to you, but I'd be looking for a mistake from one of them three in order for me to get on terms with them. Yeah. So, great result tonight. Anybody you'd like to have a shout out to before we let you go?
Yeah, well, first I've got to thank Tyler for showing the setup. It helped a massive amount for this week's race. You guys for broadcasting, EDF Motorsports and RWC Racing, because they're the best team ever.
Cool. What does RWC stand for?
We can't say.
Is that right? Secret.
Yeah, it is, secret.
Awesome stuff. We'll try and figure out what that secret is later. In that case, congratulations on your fourth place, Chris, and we'll see you at Hockenheim.
Thank you very much.
Very good. Right, for you, Yaz, you get the other race winner tonight. Race winner, Mark Draper for you.
Hello. Congratulations, Mark, on another win. Well done. How did you find that race? Well, welcome back to the front of the on top of the podium.
Yeah, it was good. A little bit gutted that because of seeing Steve's time through practice and the qualifying, I thought it was going to be like a proper hard race with Steve, but then he made that little mistake and got a slow down. But after that, it was just a case of just hitting all my marks and just trying to clear off. I was a bit cheeky at the start, where I slowed right down and I just waited to listen for his engine, just for the throttle to come up a little bit, and I just floored it because I knew the toe around is like mega, especially on the two oval parts. And yeah, he was better at braking than me, and most of the people are on this track because I like to get a really good exit because I find the exit quicker. But I didn't want to be like battling people and people doing me on the brakes and stuff. So, but other than that, just class.
Yeah, you had a really good start, and you managed to pull that gap, as you said at the beginning, just to sort of control your own race as you went along. I keep saying that or we keep saying in the broadcast that it's either hit or miss. You either win it or bin it. And I said in the week, if there's a wall, Mark Draper can hit it, and yes, there's walls all over, but you proved me wrong, made me eat my words. Did you find this track, being as tight as it is with the walls? Did you find the challenge around here? You didn't lose any wing mirrors. You didn't scrape any walls. Was it just about putting the car in the right place?
I did hit a few walls, but they're just minor little scrapes. Well, took the paint off, but the last few laps I had a few scary moments where I was still pushing, but the tyres were just melted. But yeah, I really like this track. Like I said, I've drove it before in this car, and I loved it then. And then I've come back, and I know it's like a hit and miss track with a lot of people, but I really liked it.
Well, you showed it out there. In terms of the last two races that we've got, Hockenheim and Road Atlanta, are you looking forward to those two?
Road Atlanta, love it. Love that place. Hockenheim, never drove a lap of it ever, so we'll have to buy that tomorrow and get some practice in. It might be a minute week again, but we'll see.
Tell me, is there anybody you'd like to say thank you to for this week?
Yeah, just as always, use Jensen, ladies, putting the broadcast on, and the Result Boys for giving me the paint and bigging me up every week, telling me how good I am, and then everyone who watches and stuff like that. Yeah.
Well done, Mark. You smashed it.
Thanks.
Congratulations. Well done again for taking that top step at the podium. We're definitely looking forward to see you get out there in Hockenheim next week. Well done.
Bye.
Very good. So now I will go and fetch into the booth Stephen Walker, who finished second tonight. Not able to do what you did last time out and scream away with a victory.
No, the first few laps I was forgetting about the cold tyre syndrome, so I was trying to brake. I would and I was all over the place. I'm so glad I didn't end up taking anyone out. So it was just kind of holding station for a bit, calming down, letting my tyres warm up, and then see what I could do. But I think Mark was too fast. I don't think even if we were close, I don't think I would have beaten him. Definitely not. But I would have had a good try, but you never know what could happen. But I think he was too quick this week.
Yeah, we saw you drop behind Jamie Wilson, probably on cold tyres, and then fight your way through again, took that position, and then had a good old ding-dong scrap with Gary Craig, who you both exchanged places the same position on 3 laps, one after the other. That's a very exciting race for anybody, isn't it?
Yeah, that was very fun, very clean as well. Gary's a clean guy, so yeah, I think the first lap he just caught the curb a bit too much, had to dab the brakes, so then I got past, and then like you say, in the next lap it was my turn to do that, and then he did it again, and yeah, it was really good fun. Lots of fun racing tonight. I really enjoyed that. Super clean, super good.
I always find it amazing because different drivers find excitement on different tracks. So the GT4 guys, not that buzzed up by it really, but the TCR guys, well, I know from what Mark said he enjoyed it, and you clearly did. It's a TCR blastathon, isn't it? I enjoyed driving around this track. Don't get me wrong, it's a great track for the TCR.
Yeah, it absolutely suits the car, this track, and anything with walls close, I really enjoy as well. So it's like a really good challenge, and like I say, in this car, it's just so much fun.
Yeah, and Hockenheim next time out, have you got the track and raced it in anger?
Yeah, I've done the VRS race. Ran when it first came out. I drove the McLaren around it, and I got about 1 million off tracks in the first corner, so I'll have to look out for that.
Yeah, it's a good.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to that. It's not a bad track. It's quite good.
Cool. Well, anybody you'd like to have a shout out before we let you go?
Yeah, just you guys to obviously do the whole series, and that's really good, and sponsors for that, and then just the same guys last week. Big White Donkey, Captain Mannering, and my brother again, absolute ledge.
Big White Donkey.
Well, yeah, it's a private joke. I thought I'd got to embarrass him.
Fair enough. In that case, congratulations, second place in TCR tonight. Good points haul for you. And we'll see you next time round.
Yeah, see you later, guys. Thank you very much.
Cool. And for you, Yaz, we have, if I can find the button, third place, Gary Craig.
Good
Well
evening.
done. Well done, another podium, Gary. How are you feeling
Yeah.
after that race?
I feel like I finished where I probably deserved to be honest. The two guys in front were just quicker this week. Like, it was evident from Monday practice that they had a good 2, 3, 4 tenths. So to get third, I'm happy with that. Had a few good battles with Stephen along the way. So yeah, enjoyable race. I like that.
Yeah, you did seem quite attached to Stephen through that race. Mark Draper kind of pulled away at the front quite early on, but you still had your own battle out on track there. And we always talk about what that's like to still have those battles on track. How did you find it being so close to him when you were before? I think it was before the pit stops.
So before the pit stops, him and Jamie started fighting, and they were like costing each other time. So I was just focusing on that lap time because I knew he was quicker. Mark was like 3, 4, 5 seconds up the road, and I was just doing my laps. And then as soon as he kind of got that free air, he was catching. So as soon as he got within 2 seconds behind, I pitted tactically so he didn't have my draft. And he was asking me in the room beforehand, he's like, oh, is it because there was a GT4 coming up behind? I was like, no, I'm not giving you free lap time. So tactically pitted a little bit early just to not give him the advantage, and he came out of the pits like that same 2 seconds behind, but he was half a second lap quicker at that point. So had a good battle with him. We were side by side swapping the lead 3 laps in rows. We competed to see who could get the last corner the most wrong. But no, I had some really good clean side by side there as well, side by side with him. So really good fun, good race with him.
Yeah, I think it was 3 laps in a row where you guys swapped positions, basically the same move 3 times in a row, where you guys switched positions on the first corner.
Yeah, it was
it
all about getting the last chicane wrong, not about making a move.
Yeah. Yeah. So the other question I wanted to ask in the pit stops, you took tires?
Nope.
You didn't.
Nope.
And
Jamie
did you
took
feel that?
tires.
Yeah, you felt that at the end?
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
After I'd finished battling with Stephen, like I could already feel it then. I just started to back off a bit, just took it a bit easier. Instead of braking late, I was just rolling it into the corners a bit and just doing almost more of a fuel save kind of driving because it's easier on the tyres. And that was fine after that. The lap times were down a bit, but you expect that. You save 10 seconds in the pits, but you'll lose a bit. I was more concerned about Jamie because I saw Jamie had taken tyres based on his pit time. And he was like 20 seconds behind when he came out, and then that first lap out when I was out the pits, he was doing like a second lap quicker, so I thought, oh, here we go. But he just said he couldn't maintain that pace, and so that was fair enough. It was more Stephen and myself fighting. Looked out the relative, and all of a sudden 3 laps later he'd gained 6 seconds on us. So it really costs you time when you're battling, but yeah, made a stick.
Tell me in terms of the next couple of races, Hockenheim and what's the other one? Road Atlanta. You're now in second place in the TCR standings behind Mark Draper. Are you looking forward to the last 2 races?
Yeah, I mean, I clawed 40 odd points back on him last week, and then he's got 40 odd points back this week. So I think the overall win's probably out of action now. But I think Jamie's pretty close to me in the championship. So it'll be I guess a run to the end with that. And you never know what can happen. But yeah, Mark's got 200 points now. So unless he just doesn't turn up for a couple of weeks, I think that's it.
Yeah. Well, yeah, you're very, very tight with Jamie at this point in time. I think there's 5 points in it between yourself and Jamie. So, how do you feel about Hockenheim, though?
I've driven it in the GTE. I did an enduro there a couple of months ago in the Next Level League, and I like the track. Had a really nice flow to it in the GTE. I'm not sure what layout we're using, and I'm not sure how it'll drive in the TCR. If we're doing the full big layout, I think that big long straight might make it a bit boring for that part of the track. but again, probably a good overtake and opportunity with the draft. I just don't think this car will have quite the same flow, but I still think it'll be fun in different ways.
It says Hockenheim GP circuit.
So it is the full one. Oh well,
Yeah.
watch out for lots of sends into the last chicane. And I've already warned the guys that there is a way to gain a second a lap if you don't mind taking an off track, as Pete knows all about.
Yeah, it's a genius one. Cool.
Yeah, Pete kept talking about the most handsome man in the league in the PSTV eSport Green team. I haven't seen you, Gary, but I think that.
Spoiler alert: he's talking about himself.
But yeah, well done again on your podium. And good luck for the last 2 races of the season. Is there anybody you want to give a shout out to before you go?
Yeah, you guys as ever for doing the broadcast and organising the leagues, and for everyone who's watching, everyone who races, and the sponsors, of course, EDF Motorsports. And I believe there's a new sponsor that's popped up on some of our cars recently. Is there Hex something, was there?
Oh, that's Clyde's doing that.
That's Clyde, oh well.
Hex Seal.
There we go. Another sponsor. It's always good to see sponsors in. So, yeah, thanks for everyone who's interested.
Yeah, well done again, and good luck for the rest of the season.
Cheers, thanks guys.
Yes.
Cool. Well, that's all the interviews over with. Yeah, it's we had some pockets of really good racing and some very clean racing. Some clean overtakes and a lot of sportsmanship in there. I can only remember properly one crash in inverted commas, which was the 3-1. Which will now be forever called that on that track. I've enjoyed Charlotte. What about yourself, Jens?
Yeah, it was a good race. I enjoyed that one. Results at the top. Both winners are our championship leaders. So yeah, that happened. But yeah, it was a good clean race, like I said, except for the incident we're seeing on screen now. Well done to all the guys for keeping it clean. Good race.
And yourself, Stacey, from what you saw?
Yeah, it was an all right race. As I said, it's not very nice saying you want to see crashes, but I do like a bit of entertainment now and again. Yeah, that was like I said earlier, the most well-behaved clean race I've seen in a long time. We just need someone else now to join in and challenge Mark, because yeah, Mark must be bored out there at the moment.
I think having Hockenheim and not even having bought it yet might be a bit of a challenge for him for next week. It's not an arrive and drive track, that's for sure. And yourself, Clyde, busy night on the cameras or not?
No, not really. Obviously, we had the sound issues at the start because of the Windows update that had reset all my sounds, but I'm fairly happy with myself because I managed to get that sorted fairly quickly after punching myself in the face a couple of times. But apart from that, no, it was mainly showing good driving, close battles, rather than people committing suicide in the walls. So yeah, I enjoy all races around this track because it's a track that road racers are not used to. The majority of them, apart from the weirdos like Mark, the majority of them don't like coming here. And it's good to see what happens with the racing when they do come here.
Yeah, definitely. It's also a track that really, really punishes mistakes in a terminal way. And really that shouts out to the utter skill that these guys have got with these cars now. It'll be a great future 2 rounds that we've got left in the season. And if I can press all the right buttons, I shall tell you where we are in future broadcasts. So, I need to choose the right month. I always choose the wrong month. There we go. So, after today, on Saturday, we've got V8 ESC at Spa, GP circuit. 90-minute race in V8s, that should be, or 90 minutes worth of racing in V8s, 2 races. That'll be a blast. And after that is the following Wednesday. It's this series again from, as we've mentioned, Hockenheimring. It'll be much different, I assure you. Some guys don't even own it yet, so it'll be very, very interesting. I think tonight's been a lesson in how to race these cars, and I'll leave that message with you. You should watch this as a good education on how to do this track in these cars, because they were excellent tonight. I want to say goodnight to you all.
No, you're not.
You've forgotten
no,
something. You've
got the
forgotten
votes.
something.
Got the votes, and I can't vote for myself. That's why I forgot about it. Okay, let's start with driver of the evening from Yaz.
Yeah, I think to go with, I don't like to choose the winner as driver of the evening. And in terms of, I think that for me, I think the driver of the day, I think not considering what happened at the start, I'm going to go left field and give it to Chris Needham for a good recovery drive from the pits to finish just about in fourth place, just behind third place in fourth. So I'm going to give it to Chris Needham tonight.
Okay, there's one for Chris. Stacey.
I'm going to go for a weird one, like I usually do. I'm going to go for David Ayres because he had an incident at the beginning. Unfortunately, it couldn't be helped, but he carried on going. He carried on racing. He didn't give up, and yeah, so he's got to go to David Ayres.
Okay, one for David there. Clyde, who are you voting for?
So, again, there was a number of candidates, but I'm going to agree with Yaz, and I think that was a good drive from Chris Needham. We all hate having technical issues. They never seem to happen in practice. It's always when you're gridding. But he kept his cool, got things reset, started in the pit lane, and then pretty much had a faultless drive and finished fourth place. So Chris Needham for me.
Good stuff. I was going to choose Chris Needham for exactly the same reasons as you've both just stated. I think, though, I'm going to be influenced by the gap that he managed to win his class by, and I'm going to go for Mark Draper tonight. That was a pretty much faultless drive. I don't think he did anything wrong that I could see. And same could be true of Chris Needham, but that just stepped out for me. So my point tonight goes to Mark Draper.
Okay. So now you can say bye if you want.
I will. At that point, we'll bring the broadcast to a close, and I'll say goodnight to everybody. Wish you all the very best and to stay safe. If you're in the UK now that the lockdown rules have changed, and hope to see you in our future broadcasts. I'll hand you over to Yaz, and I'll say goodnight, everybody.
Good night, everybody. Hope to see you next week.
Night, everybody. Thanks for watching. See you next week.
Yeah, and same from me. Good night, everybody. Stay safe and see you next time.